Launch Director.
Launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission Director.
3,
You have permission
2.
to launch.
We have ignition of the RS-68A main engine. And we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
Mach 1 execute, and we have indication of spacecraft separation.
At Space Launch Complex 37, a Delta IV Heavy rocket is fueled and ready to launch the NROL44 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. Good morning. I'm Dylan Rice, a Systems Test Engineer, Launch Conductor, and your host for today's broadcast. T0 is set for 2:04 a.m., and the launch team is working one issue that may push us into the window. A few seconds from now, at T-minus 4 minutes, the launch count will enter a planned 15-minute hold. We have 2 planned holds in today's 9.5-hour launch count. These planned holds give our team additional time to resolve any issues that come up prior to entering terminal count. At the request of our customer, today's live coverage will conclude following payload fairing jettison, scheduled to occur about 6.5 minutes after liftoff. In addition to watching our webcast, you can follow live mission progress at ulalaunch.com. Will Ulrich, the 45th Space Wing's Launch Weather Officer, recently briefed the team on weather conditions here at Cape Canaveral. The probability of violating launch constraints is 10%. Ground winds are 5 to 10 knots out of the southwest, and the temperature is 81 degrees Fahrenheit. So the weather is within launch commit criteria and looks favorable for our planned T0 at 2:04 a.m. Eastern. Today's flight will take an easterly heading away from our Cape Canaveral launch pad. Let's take a look at what else we can expect to see this morning.
And liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
At T-minus 14 seconds, the ROFIs, which look like sparklers, ignite to burn off excess hydrogen injected into the flame duct. ROFI ignition is followed by ignition of the starboard Delta IV RS-68A engine at T-minus 7 seconds. 2 seconds later, the center and port RS-68A engines ignite, generating more than 2.1 million pounds of total thrust to lift the rocket off the pad. This staggered engine start mitigates the fireball created by the hydrogen-burning Delta IV Heavy. Shortly after liftoff, Delta IV begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path, while minimizing the pressure the vehicle experiences during flight. The Delta IV reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound, at 1 minute 18 seconds. 2 seconds later, the rocket experiences maximum dynamic pressure as it travels through Earth's atmosphere. At 3 minutes 56 seconds, the port and starboard booster engines shut down. 2 seconds later, the port and starboard boosters are jettisoned. The center booster engine then throttles to full power to maximize performance. Approaching main engine cutoff, Delta IV is traveling at more than 24,753 kilometers, or 15,381 miles per hour, is located 111 kilometers or 69 miles in altitude, and is 586 kilometers or 364 miles downrange. At 5 minutes 36 seconds, propellant levels deplete and the booster engine shuts down. 7 seconds later, the Delta IV separation system activates to release the first stage. The vehicle now weighs a little more than 5% of what it did at liftoff. At 5 minutes 56 seconds, the Delta cryogenic second stage main engine burn begins. During ascent, NROL44 is protected inside a 5-meter diameter tri-sector payload fairing. At approximately 6 minutes 38 seconds, the payload fairing is jettisoned. Delta IV continues its national security mission following payload fairing jettison.
ULA is using the Delta IV Heavy configuration to launch the NROL44 mission. This is the 12th Delta IV Heavy launch and ULA's 141st mission. Delta IV Heavy is built in Decatur, Alabama, and it's our largest, most powerful configuration. It's comprised of 3 common booster cores, each powered by Aerojet Rocketdyne RS-68A engines, and a Delta cryogenic second stage powered by an Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10B2 engine. It's equipped with a 5-meter payload fairing, which you can see here. Events began July 27th when the spacecraft, encapsulated inside that payload fairing, to the Mobile Service Tower at Space Launch Complex 37 and vertically integrated to the Delta Heavy rocket. About 6:30 p.m. last night, final preps began. The Delta Mobile Service Tower is 300 feet tall, 100 feet wide, and 100 feet long, making it as tall as a football field is long and as wide as a basketball court. It weighs about 10 million pounds. There are 40 hydraulic cylinders at pressures nearing 3,500 psi that raise the MST 8 inches prior to moving it back to its park position. The MST uses a carriage transporter system. It travels about a quarter mile per hour and it takes about 25 minutes to roll the MST to the launch position 345 feet north of the launch vehicle. Delta IV stands 235 feet tall, or about 23 stories, and weighs about 1.6 million pounds fully fueled. The 3 big RS-68A engines produce more than 2 million pounds of thrust at liftoff. Today's launch is for the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO. This is ULA's 29th launch for the NRO and the 8th use of the Delta IV Heavy for the NRO. The NRO is a joint organization engaged in the research, development, acquisition, launch, and operation of innovative overhead reconnaissance systems necessary to meet the needs of the intelligence community and the Department of Defense. The NRO is recognized for its transformational intelligence collection systems that are used to develop highly accurate military targeting data, support international peacekeeping and humanitarian relief operations, and to assess the impact of natural disasters.
Hey everybody, it's great to see you. We are just T-minus 13 minutes.
We had the chance to hear from the L44 trajectory engineer, Corey Buckingham. Let's take a look at what he mentions is unique about the Delta IV Heavy and today's flight.
Hi, my name is Corey Buckingham. I'm the trajectory engineer for the L44 mission. There's a few reasons the Delta IV Heavy is the only vehicle that can launch the L44 payload. Primarily is the payload fairing. The ULA payload fairing is 65 feet long and 5 meters in diameter. That's about 16 and a half feet. And it provides sufficient payload volume capacity for the L44 satellite. The performance capability is the combined performance of the first stage and the second stage. As you can clearly see, there are 3 boosters that provide over 2 million pounds of thrust to lift the vehicle off the pad. It's going to be
Sorry, I realized that I was just
show.
screaming in your
I can't wait
ears.
to see it. Now talking about the second stage, the DCSS, the Delta Cryogenic Second Stage,
Should be better now.
is a very capable and highly performing second stage. A big contributor to the second stage performance
Thank you, Kyle.
is the extendable nozzle of the DCSS. We launched the mission with the nozzle in the stowed position, and then after booster jettison, the nozzle deployment system extends the nozzle to its full length. This very long nozzle is a huge performance increase because of the increase in ISP, specific impulse. ISP is how we measure the efficiency of a rocket engine. It is calculated as thrust divided by the flow rate of the propellants. A great way to think about ISP is related to your car. Your car's
Hey,
engine,
Alan.
the efficiency is
Hey,
measured in
Ronnie.
miles per gallon. It's a very similar concept with rocket engines, and the high ISP
11.
allowed for by the extendable
We're
nozzle of
T-minus
the
11
RL-10
minutes.
allows us
We're
to
gonna
achieve
watch
the
this
orbit of the
rocket
L44.
literally light itself on
So if
fire
you're
and
looking for
take
someone to
off for
blame
the
for the
sky,
very early
turning
launch
night
time,
today for a
you can
few
blame
brief
me.
moments
I'm
in
the
time
trajectory
here.
engineer, so I'm responsible for publishing the launch period. So how do we calculate the launch period? The time of launch
This is the most
driven
beautiful
by the
night for
RAN,
launch. The weather is
RAAN,
perfect.
right ascension of the ascending node. The RAN is essentially a sun
T-minus
relative
11
angle
minutes,
that the
probably more like
spacecraft
T-minus 10 and a
requires us
half.
to achieve
We're
as
actually
spacecraft
getting a
separation.
countdown clock up
So
for
once
you
we
in
have the
just a second
trajectory
here.
designed, the knob that we have to turn is the launch time. So we set the launch time to achieve the correct RAN. But then, if you stop there, you have an instantaneous launch period. We want as long a launch period as possible to give us the best chances of launching on any given day. For L44, we have a nearly 5-hour launch period. So how do we get there? trajectory design incrementally steps out the trajectory until we reach the window open and window close time. That duration divides out the trajectory until we reach the window open and window close time. That duration defines the launch period. Now these edge trajectories, they need to steer
you guys should see
more
a countdown
and use
clock
more
right now up
performance
in the
than the
top
window
right-hand
optimal
corner of
case
the
in
screen,
order to
thanks to Ryan
achieve
over
the
here.
same orbit targets. We load specific guidance and navigation parameters depending on when we launch within the launch period so that robust guidance algorithms can get us to the correct orbit no matter when we launch within the launch period.
Perfect.
This is just another factor of how the Delta IV Heavy can support the L44 payload. Personally, I've been working on the L44 mission for almost 4 years now, so I'm very excited to see all of our hard work come to fruition when it lifts off into the night sky. But more
We've got
importantly,
T-minus 9
I'm looking
minutes now.
forward to this vital asset to get on orbit and begin supporting the U.S. intelligence community, supporting national security space, and keeping Americans safe.
As I mentioned at the open of the broadcast, the team is working one issue. They're analyzing a temperature in one of the vehicle compartments, and so we are going to be extending this built-in hold until we have further information. As they do for every mission, the
Thank
NRO
you,
provided
Ronnie.
unique artwork for NRO 44. Here's the story behind the art. The background of this artwork is a dark shade of NRO blue to symbolize cross-organization collaboration required for mission success. In the foreground, we see a wolf howling as a warning to its pack as the first point of detection for signs of trouble. The wolf pack represents the nation and the international community leveraging and supporting the steadfast sentry. Lastly, the falling snow represents the purity of the NRO's intentions and the serene calm of peace.
We are extending a built-in hold, so we might have a few more minutes than we originally anticipated.
A few moments ago, Mission Director Colonel Chad Davis remembered our friends and colleagues, Chuck Mitchell and Winnie Pang. Let's listen in.
This morning's NRO L44 launch is dedicated to the memory of Chuck Mitchell and Winnie Pang.
Yeah, Harry, we're
Chuck and Winnie
actually right in
have
front of
dedicated
Chris
countless
and
hours
Thomas.
of technical expertise,
So
ensuring the
we're kind of
incredible
over here in the
success
NASA
of a
Space Flight
multitude
feed
of
as well.
launches. Their warm smiles, team spirit, and phenomenal leadership have rippled across the aerospace and launch
Hi,
entities.
Tom.
To our fellow
Thank you.
patriots,
Thanks for being here.
rest in peace.
So cool. I gotta take a picture of this.
LC on 1 AC.
Oh, I see.
Okay, we have yet another ECS adjustment for you. This is for the inner tank. Currently it's 70 degrees F. We want to take that to 80 degrees F.
Roger. ECS LC.
Go.
Please take inner tank from 70 degrees Fahrenheit to 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Roger.
All right, I'm just checking the Twitter feed. Oh. Just listening into the...
Set. So, just have to hit record before we go.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a picture-in-picture of us, but it's in the wrong spot. So, just gonna move it down. tell folks what's going on.
Yeah, as we wait for the got a delay that's a little distracting. As we wait for the ULA team to kind of work through this hold. Ryan and I are just taking more time to play and set up some more views. So in just a second here, we're going to get you a view of us, a little picture-in-picture view, so you can see that we're actually little humans here doing this stuff. And Harry, you're right. It is not a bad view for an extended hold. Honestly, this launch period could potentially last, I think, 4 hours. So we're really lucky. We have a camper that we take everywhere with us. So if we get desperate, you know, we've got a place to nap.
Coming down. Oh, too far.
As you can see, we're playing with new software yet again. We're just trying to find the best solution, best option. Right now, we're working with.
I'm gonna take the timer off.
Oh, we're taking the timer off. That's completely incorrect now, anyway. So, but we're playing with new software that's cloud-based, which really takes the processing power off of the computer, which is always really tricky, especially during those hot Florida summer days where the sun's just beating down on the computer. So far it's going great. I love the
This is Delta
arrangement
Mission
here
Control at
and the
T-minus 4 minutes and
flexibility of what
holding.
we can do.
We remain in the planned 15-minute built-in hold as preparations for launch continue. The team is still working through the temperature issue I mentioned earlier, and we'll get back to you with a new T0 as soon as we have one.
Are you're listening to the video? Okay, so you'll know if it's.
Yeah, they're just on hold right now.
Okay, good.
Not saying anything. Yes, Ellen, thank you so much for posting that information. So this is such a unique rocket. This is the second time that we'll have seen this rocket take off. I love the Delta IV Heavy. It's so special to me. The first time we saw it take off was for the Parker Solar Probe mission, which is really near and dear to my heart. Beautiful science mission that's literally scooping up particles from the sun as we speak. But we were right here in this very same place way back when, and I got to watch for the first time ever the entire sky change from night to complete day. And I actually brought a little telescope out with me that night. It was the first time I think I had done that, and I saw up close as this rocket lit itself completely on fire. And it astounded me. I didn't know what to expect at the time, but that's just something that happens during ignition when the engines ignite and there's a lot of hydrogen goes through the system at first, and then oxygen, and everything just ignites in this insane fireball before it takes off. And Ronnie, thank you so much for your suggestion of using the gloves and capturing a performance during a launch. That's literally the vision that I had, I guess, 2 years ago, before I even knew I could ever have the gloves. Now we know I have them. We're out here. This is all totally plausible. Might get tricky with the amount of technology that we already have hooked up, but we'll figure it out. We will make that happen. Trust me. Thanks, Harry. Yeah, that Parker Solar Probe video is a classic. I love that. I feel like Ryan did such a beautiful job telling the story about Eugene Parker. It's super emotional and so beautiful. That's on our YouTube channel if you guys want to look for the Parker Solar Probe mission.
As I mentioned earlier, today's launch is ULA's 29th for the NRO. While we stand by and wait for that new T0, let's take a look at the huge role the NRO plays in the security of our country.
T-minus 3, 2,
Everybody, I'm going to detach this little picture-in-picture cam and see if I can give you
We are the agency that
command
made the
center.
impossible possible,
and we're
protected the
primarily,
world, and brought technology to
photographers
levels
and
undreamt of.
videographers out here, so that's sort of our first priority. So,
The race to space was a series of firsts,
a wider shot
and
and
we
some
were there.
behind-the-scenes cams.
We were the first
and then we're excited to kind of give you
surveil our
guys a
adversaries from the
behind-the-scenes
high ground of
close-up
space,
view too,
literally
live.
taking technology
So,
to new heights,
we've been working on
watching our
software and
adversaries,
different hardware setups
guarding
in the field.
against the threat of nuclear war, and providing strategic advantage to our nation.
All right, hold on, let me do that
We
here.
were the
Let me hand this to
agency
you.
no
Yeah,
one
camera.
had heard of, because we worked in total secrecy. But we've stepped out of the shadows, and we are writing the next chapters of American space technology. We are the National Reconnaissance Office, the NRO, the world leader in our tradecraft, collecting top secret imagery and signals from space.
Do you have...
Natural disasters threaten thousands of lives. Conflicts displace millions, and adversaries mount threats. We give advance warning, aid in the aftermath, protect our citizens, and safeguard the world. We are the only agency that develops these tools, partnering with the intelligence community, the military, and the best of private industry to drive innovation.
Yeah, we're Harry, we're trying to get the volume levels right as we speak.
At the heart of it, our people who take satellites from idea to orbit, focusing talent and resources, developing, building, launching, operating sophisticated NRO systems that help us maintain global vigilance 24/7, 365. Small sats made possible by miniaturization, reducing costs and expanding possibilities. Large satellites with capabilities designed to answer our toughest national security questions. Pioneering achievements on the ground, where analysts bring it all together.
That's better.
How do we do it?
Okay.
By investing in the latest research and
Sorry about that, guys. We've got we finally got the levels worked out, I think.
Machine learning and artificial intelligence. Employing
White Mask says this ad feels like I'm watching Starship Troopers.
enabling us to work with the industry's best.
Yes, so while we were trying to adjust the levels, we had some insane wildlife activity. I don't know if you all heard it, but there must be a dolphin right over here, or like a whole gang of alligators. One of the two. Alligator gang, that's what we're going for.
Into space. We deliver under budget
and to all my cavers out there, I know we have a good caver chat going on right now in YouTube. I completely fell in love with the idea of leaving Louisville and going out to explore this new life after I made an epic adventure in a cave where I could have died, but I didn't. And I came out of that thinking, you know, it's time to do something crazy. That's definitely an alligator. No big deal. No big deal. This ad, you can skip this ad after 15 minutes.
While the team continues to evaluate the issue and evaluate our new potential T-zeros, one of the other items that
hey, I just want to shout out right now, there are currently 42 YouTube viewers, and for anyone who knows me well, You know how special that is to me. So I think we should do something to celebrate. Anybody have any ideas? Ooh.
Provide data on wind, temperatures, etc. We use to design the
Whoa, what you got going on over there? Ryan's playing around with all the functionality, so you're gonna enjoy some fun text on the screen.
It'll go away in just a moment here.
Alan, so here's so Alan, the cave that I'm referring to was actually a cave that a friend of mine, Ken Bailey, had discovered, and I believe the name that he gave it is called Wonderland. And if I'm not mistaken, it's part of the Mammoth Cave system, but it's in Kentucky near Louisville. Have you been there? There's this tiny tunnel that goes through it that was so small that only someone small and brave enough could get through it and help him map the last missing piece of this cave. And so I went for it, and I have no regrets, but it was completely insane. I'd do it again. All right, so I'm just reiterating here what ULA said a few minutes ago. The Delta IV Heavy countdown is holding at T-minus 4 minutes. The engineers are assessing adjustments in the temperature inside one of the rocket's compartments before proceeding to launch. So as soon as they come back and say we're go for launch, we've got 4 minutes on the countdown clock. So that's exciting. We have to remain poised.
Poised. We will be poised.
Thanks, Harry. Yeah, we're super excited to try out that lens. Very generous of you. Thank you. Ryan is super excited.
Still on its way, but hopefully it'll be in soon, and can't wait to get it out here in the field. So yeah, really appreciate it, and can't wait to show you guys what we can capture an anamorphic cinematic view.
Gotta come up with a fancy name. All right, so for those of you who may not know, this is the NROL44 mission, which is a super secret mission. If we told you anything about it, they'd have to kill all of us. But no, in all seriousness, we think that it is a spy satellite that's going to a geostationary orbit, based on what we know and where it's launching from. And this is actually pretty amazing. I was just looking at the facts. This is going to be the 141st mission for ULA, for United Launch Alliance, and it's ULA's 29th ever mission for the NRO. So those are tight partners there. It's also the 385th Delta launch since 1960, and the 12th ever Delta IV Heavy launch. Great. I'm glad you guys like the views. I mean, hopefully, if everything goes well, Ryan's just now getting set up on his joystick controls. You'll probably see he's panning slowly down the rocket to kind of test out the functionality of the joysticks and make sure that there are no bugs. And that means that at the moment of liftoff, because it looks like it's going really well, at the moment of liftoff, he's going to track this rocket as best he can. And hopefully you'll be able to watch the flame continue to rise in the atmosphere as he tracks over there. And you'll see this all in real time, but what's important to know is that he's filming in 4K high speed. So we'll be able to then compile that footage and create a gorgeous slow-mo video after this is all over. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that we lost such a legend today. I just saw that as we were coming out here. It was so sad. I mean, I'm tired of losing people. I don't know about you. Alan coming in with the zinger. Yeah, you know, it's so funny that these top secret missions, there's so little that we get to know, but they invite all of us media out here. It's such a strange conundrum. I think it's that ULA, you know, has really been pushing to publicize their launches because they have such an amazing track record and it's such a beautiful spectacle to witness. So I've honestly maybe never seen more media than I do here tonight, and that's saying a lot because it was midnight when we all gathered, and it could very well be 6 a.m. before we leave if the hold continues. Yeah, I would guess so too, Ronnie, but I'm really not sure. I mean, honestly, a lot of weather satellites go to that same orbit. A lot of communications, GPS satellites go to that orbit. But yeah, I would guess that it's a communications spy satellite. There are some speculating that it's part of the Orion project. Oh my gosh, Harry, don't even go there. Yeah, you know what? We're about to see. Harry just mentioned the beautiful jellyfish at Vandenberg during the SAOCOM 1A mission. Yes. Oh my gosh, imagine if we had this set up there. I actually had my little telescope there, but I did not have a beautiful camera attached to it. I had my iPhone in my eyes. But yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that because now we have the SAOCOM 1B launch potentially happening this weekend and another Starlink launch. So just in the next 2 days, we're going to be super busy with launches. Bam, bam, bam. Literally the second that Ryan picks up cameras from the launch pad from this launch, he's just probably going to pop new SD cards in, new batteries, and ship them right out to the SpaceX launch pads. This is a super crazy, busy time right now. You know, White Mask is asking how many rocket launches do you guys visit each year? Honestly, I've totally lost count, and it's changed a lot this year due to SpaceX's Starlink launches, which are happening rapid fire constantly. Since we moved to Cape Canaveral, we have probably seen an average of a launch per week just from here. But in the past, we had been traveling coast to coast, hitting every single rocket launch at Vandenberg, Cape Canaveral, and Why is the name escaping me right
Following a
now?
series of early failures,
Wallops
four
Island,
teams
yes.
celebrated their first
So
success
we
on September 20th,
we saw a lot of
1957.
launches last year, but I have a feeling that we've already
In all,
topped that this
59
year.
Thor
There have
IRBMs
just
were
been
launched,
an
with the last
amazing
one occurring
set of
in
new activity here in
1975.
Cape Canaveral. And then, of
Thor began
course,
the
we
transition
hope to
from
get out and
missile
see
to space launch
Starship
vehicle
soon in
in
Texas,
1958.
but it's tricky right now with travel, obviously.
On October 11th, 1958, America's newly formed space agency marked its inaugural launch when Thor Able boosted NASA's Pioneer 1 on a mission to the moon, and NASA's long partnership with Thor was born. NASA and the Douglas Aircraft Company began development of the fourth and longest-lasting Thor configuration.
Yeah, I think you guys are
April
probably right in your
1959,
speculations
using
about
a
the
Thor
spy
first
satellite.
stage and a Vanguard second and third
We don't know.
stage,
Can't
Delta
say for
1
sure.
lifted off on May 13, 1960, from Cape Canaveral Space Launch Complex 17. Though its first launch was not successful, the Delta team quickly pinpointed the failure. 3 months later, delivered NASA's Echo 1 communications satellite to orbit. Following Echo 1, the Delta
Can you guys
team
hear the
racked up an
crickets?
impressive 22 successful launches. Led
You
by
know what
Bill
I could
Shipman,
do?
The Delta rocket earned its industry
I've got my
workhorse mark,
parabolic
rapidly
dish
establishing
here
itself as one of the most
right at my
reliable
side.
and
I could
versatile
totally just
During
aim
the
you guys at the
1960s,
alligator
Delta
action
launch
right in
vehicles
front of me.
paved the way for the
That would be
burgeoning
interesting.
communications industry, launched America's first weather satellites, and sent probes to explore our universe.
Yeah, this
AT&T's
is the
Telstar 1,
life
the
of
first
a
commercial
rocket
communications
launch
satellite,
chaser. You
launched in
never
1962.
know.
And
You
in
never know if it's going to
1963,
go down to the
Syncom
second.
2 became the world's
It's
first
pretty
geosynchronous
crazy.
satellite.
Just got to get used to
Tyros, or television infrared
enjoying the view,
observation satellites,
if you will.
provided the National Weather Service with humans' first view of the Earth's cloud cover. In orbit around the Earth, Moon, and Sun, NASA's Explorer satellites provided us with a deeper understanding of the solar wind, cosmic rays, as well as Earth's magnetic field and radiation belts. By the end of the decade, launch vehicle modifications, including the addition of solid rocket motors
Yeah,
and
I was
upgraded
sorry
third
to hear
stage,
Rocket Lab's
made it
launch got
possible
pushed
for
as
Delta
well.
to orbit satellites 10
Oh,
times
good. You can hear
larger.
the crickets. Ugh, they're music to my
The
ears.
1970s was an
I'm actually
international
recording
decade for
binaural
Delta,
audio
as
right
the
now,
manifest
as I
included
do
scientific
for
and
every launch.
communication satellites for
I
several
always set the
countries
game
across
down
North
really
America,
low.
Europe,
That
and
way,
Asia.
when the launch takes off,
Perhaps the most
it
demanding
doesn't
challenge
totally
of the
overblow
1970s
it
was the
instantly,
launch of the
and you
Earth
get a
Imaging
nice
Earth
binaural
Resources
sound as it
Technology
comes around your
Satellite,
head.
later known
But
as Landsat.
sometimes
Mission for the
I
Earth Sciences
I'll kick the
community
gain up
required major
so you can
changes to the
get the
Delta
crickets
propulsion and
before
guidance
launch
systems.
happens.
During the 1980s, Delta continued its reliable service to the communications, weather, and Earth imaging communities. As capable as the Delta rocket proved to be,
You know, I
production
think
came
that
to a
the
halt in
crickets
the
are
early
probably
80s,
used to the
National
launch.
space policy dictated that the
You know,
space shuttle
again, this
use
happens like
the US's
once a
primary
week
launch
now.
Crickets
Signal
don't get
and
used to
command
things.
be
I just don't.
You don't
I don't
think
believe they
so?
get used to things.
1987, Delta
Come
teams
on.
picked up where they left
They
off.
gotta get used to it.
Development began on a
They gotta
launch
evolve.
vehicle to support
You
the
know,
Air
this
Force's
honestly,
global
this place
positioning
is
system.
so stunning.
On February 14th,
If you haven't been here
1989,
before,
Delta
I
184
always have a hard
began
time
a new
describing it to
chapter in
people, but
space launch
it
history
is like a
as it lifted
tropical
off from Space Launch Complex
paradise.
17,
It's a wildlife
demonstrating an
reserve.
incredible feat. The Delta
So
II
it's
gone from
literally just
development to launch
rockets
in
and
just
wildlife.
2
It is so surreal.
To accommodate the larger
Has anybody been
GPS
here to Cape
satellites,
Canaveral to see
engineers
a launch
improved
up
the Delta
close?
rocket in several ways. The fuel tanks were stretched. A new payload fairing was developed.
Overdrive
Larger
Media.
solid rocket motors
Never
were
had the
incorporated.
chance to watch a launch in person, but
Modifications
hopefully
resulted
someday.
in
Yeah, I
increased
really hope so.
performance and flexibility.
I don't doubt there will be many opportunities for you. It's just about
By
to
the
get
mid-1990s,
crazier.
Delta
I mean,
II
they're
delivered the
looking
fully
to
operational 24 satellite
build another
GPS
launch port
constellation. And though it was developed for
all
the Air
over the
Force,
U.S.,
Delta
all
again
over,
became
I'm
a
sorry, the
reliable
world.
partner
In
to
Europe
both
now,
NASA
in the
and its
northern
commercial customers.
side of the U.S., I believe in Michigan.
Over the course of its more than 20-year run, the Delta II has launched some of America's best-known scientific
Johnny, that's a
and
good point.
exploration
These
missions.
crickets were probably born last week. They have no idea what's coming.
Engine start, 0 and liftoff of the Stardust spacecraft. Liftoff of the Delta II rocket carrying the Spirit from Earth to planet Mars.
Liftoff of the Delta II with Grail. Journey to the center of the moon.
On the commercial side, Delta II launched the Global Star and Iridium constellations. which
Ronnie,
brought
have you never
satellite
seen a launch
telephone
still?
communication to the
Was that your only opportunity to see
Continuing
one?
its evolution to meet the growing demands of its satellite customers, the Delta team developed the more powerful Delta 3. Though short-lived, Delta 3 doubled the performance of the Delta 2.
What that was. Wow, the moon is glorious. Oh my gosh, I just turned perfect, like right around. This beautiful hunk of cheese is glowing behind me. Gorgeous stars above.
In partnership with the Air Force's involved
Harry,
expendable
where
launch
do you
vehicle
live?
program, the Delta
I
team
know that you
began
live
development of
across
the
the world.
next-generation Delta rocket in the mid-1990s.
Yeah, Australia. That's right. Well, yeah. Maybe have you...
All Delta 4 configurations begin
Gotta
with
see
the
that
common
gorgeous New
booster
Zealand
core,
pad.
powered by the RS-68A main engine. The Delta 4 Heavy, with its 3 common booster cores, deliver our nation's largest missions to orbit.
Great, Metal Empire. What a great name. So glad to hear you have a nice setup to view that. Yeah, aren't they just stunning? Stunning shots.
Delta 4 launch vehicles are produced at a 1.5 million square foot state-of-the-art facility in Decatur, Alabama. Processing and launch takes place at Space Launch Complex 37 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. And Space Launch
Ram
Complex
is
6
asking about the ETA on liftoff. Right now, we don't know. We're in a hold. They are currently checking a temperature issue. And once they get through that and they decide to go forward, we'll be resetting the clock to T-minus 4 minutes again. So we're just kind of in a holding period right now, but I'm keeping an eye on Twitter and the live feed. Yeah, so the latest from ULA is we remain in the T-minus 4 minute hold while engineers complete a thermal analysis of a rocket compartment that is a bit cold tonight from the cryogenic propellants on Delta 4 Heavy. We continue to await a new target liftoff time. Now keep in mind, this launch period is 4 hours long. So we never know. It could be that any second now they go ahead and go forward and we are T-minus 4 minutes, or it could be that, you know, a couple hours from now they reset the countdown clock. Are you keeping everybody updated on Twitter, or should I do that here?
Oh, let me do that now.
You want me to do it?
No, I got a cool photo.
Cool. Got a whole command center here. Oh, is there, what's the picture-in-picture?
That's us, the table right here.
Where is the camera?
Right there. Get your head right here. Put your head there.
Oh, I don't need to put my head there. You guys don't need to see my head.
Yeah.
I just realized the picture-in-picture view you're getting. Oh, cool. Great. Overdrive Media, where are you? Where are you located? I have a feeling that New Zealand is always a lovely place to be. This is just a speculation. I've never been there. Oh, Ronnie, trust me, if this one gets canceled, it is not you who will be blamed. This has actually happened. This will be the third night that we have prepared for and anticipated this particular launch. We've only come out actually to the causeway right here once. We set everything up, and then they almost immediately scrubbed it that night and then reset it for 24 hours later. Then there was still an issue that they had to work out with the pneumatics ground control system, and once that was worked out, they set it for tonight. Oh, nice. Overdrive Media is in the North Island of New Zealand. I think we all need to visit someday when everything is not the way that it is right now, and we're all safely traveling around the world again. What do you think? We've got a question about the live stream.
Yeah.
From Metal Empire. Does your broadcasting station have enough bandwidth to have a stable 1440p upstream?
Yeah, we actually have 2 live view units out here right now. Each view has its own bonded signal. So we're running about 7,000 kilobits per second on each, which is pretty good. That's enough for a 1080p signal here in the field. And we have an ATEM Mini attached to one of them, and that gives us the picture-in-picture capability. In the future, if we have some more time, we'll set up some other views. But yeah, we wanted to keep the telescope dedicated on its own line, and so far it's working pretty well. We tried to do some fancy mixing with OBS and just, you know, the standard software that folks would use, but we just had trouble in the field getting it all to be consistent and to function properly. So we're trying something different using a cloud production studio. This one's called Easy Live, and basically we can collect a bunch of signals. I actually have the webcast live streaming from my home computer. Up, and that's a good thing. And we're working on the format a little bit. I'd love to get the chats in here. Things are a little clunky, but the views are pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with how the scope is looking. I don't think we can get much better than that. So, see, okay, so we just lost something on the left side, I think. Let's see if it filters through. Hold on.
I think we got it back. It's just a little blip in the space-time continuum. No big deal. Here he says that's better than his home internet. Well, you know what? All you got to do is combine all of your cell connections together.
4 cell signal or 4 cell service providers rocking out here right now.
Yeah, we got my iPad, my phone, his hotspot, another hotspot. You know, you got to do what you got to do. That's why this has been such a process. It's very much a learning process. Like, you got a lot to account for. A lot of cables,
robust guidance algorithms make corrections
a lot of connections
to achieve the target spacecraft orbit. These guidance algorithms account for all the mission constraints, which could
You
be
know,
structural.
I wonder, Alan, if the audio is dropping out, or if that was just because he was looking into an issue and pulled away from the mic.
Customer wants it on time.
And anybody who's watching on Facebook, or are we live at Twitter as well?
I'm checking right now.
Just come on over to YouTube if you want to engage in the chats there. We are mostly focused there, though I'm trying to jump around. So to reiterate, we don't know, because they're looking into an issue with the temperature right now. They're trying to cool things down. And once they're able to finish that work, we're going to resume to the T-4 minute hold. So as soon as they say their go, we'll be at T-4 minutes. So we're just watching out for that right now. RoRam is asking how far away we are and where we are exactly. We are literally just across the water. We're at the ITL causeway at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, and that is where the Delta IV Heavy is. I'm pointing at it. You don't see my hand, but that's Space Launch Complex 37. And I think that we are probably about 3 miles away. Hey, 52, that's 10 more than 42. I'm just now catching up with our Facebook comments. I apologize. I've been just concentrating over here in YouTube, and there's a lot of activity there. Sorry, guys. So, I think I have repeated all of this information that you have asked. So, Glenn saw the shuttle launch. Yeah, light up the night sky. Ugh. Glenn. True. And then points out that the sound ripples came across the river. Yes, that is the definition of awesome. When you can stand here, literally, we are separated by nothing but water. And when we watch this fireball light up the sky, lift up, and shed light on all of the water and all of the land around us, it is so amazing to watch the sound waves rippling toward us and then just rip through our chests. It is the most majestic feeling I've ever felt. And I would say that it's comparable in experience to something like seeing a total solar eclipse. It's just awe-inspiring. Hey Carla, shout out to Monterrey, Mexico. I've been to Monterrey once. I actually used to live in Cabo San Lucas, quickly moved away, and made my way to Chihuahua, of all places. But I toured the entire country and super loved it. And that was about, gosh, maybe 15 years ago now. Brad, I'm so excited to hear about your first video camera. Can't wait to see you film your first launch. That's great. And looks like it's back. Just a quick little glitch. Good morning, Jacksonville. Good morning, South Carolina. Alan just pointed out that what a historic place to be. This whole place is just magically historic. We get to Apollo missions took our astronauts to the moon. Hubble launched from there, the shuttle. Yeah, Overdrive Media, thank you. The left feed has been dropping out just intermittently for about 3 to 4 seconds at a time.
It takes its audio. That's where the audio is coming in at. So when the left goes, we lose audio. So.
Yes, and that is the feed that brings...
This is Delta Launch Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. The team continues to work through a thermal observation in one of the vehicle compartments that does not match pre-launch predictions. And we are awaiting a new T0. Whenever we have issues like this come up, the anomaly chief, who you will hear polled in the final countdown, will form a team comprised of ULA
dropout issue
at the launch site and, if required, back at our design center in Denver, Colorado, to talk through the issue. As part of that team, the United States Space Force has engineers represented in that conversation.
So hopefully you can still hear me. Kelly asked why is there holding, and what ULA has said is that the engineers are completing a thermal analysis of a rocket compartment that is a bit too cold from the cryogenic propellants on the Delta IV Heavy. So they're working. I heard over the countdown nets just a bit ago, I guess a while ago at this point, that they were trying to cool things down.
And once the entire team agrees,
I actually don't have any specific information. I think I heard that right, but it says here that it's a bit cold. So they're just waiting for the new target liftoff time after they go through their checks. Hi. Yeah.
So we'll continue to stand by while the team talks through the thermal concern and provide updates as they're available.
I've seen videos of you guys doing it, but I've never actually paid attention to you guys doing it. The fact that I'm focusing on my own thing.
Right. I know. It's what I want to get is a full future.
Okay.
Because it's just so tight. I mean, it's beautiful right now, but to have a whole boat sticking with it, it's pretty slim once they come to the finish line.
Okay.
But filming time, the last time we did beautiful. Yep. So then there's a second one. So when I lose it in this screen quickly, I can at least see where I'm at. So the red dot is where I'm at, and I can see back to it.
So you have another camera, or you have a finder scope?
Basically, it's a little USB.
Okay.
Finder scope.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Go, LD.
LC, at this time, please load new target set, segment Bravo.
Hey, shout out to 2:42 a.m.
Flight control, LC network.
This is flight.
First step 1450. Load contingency trajectory using autofile FPCS D Delta Victor 041-002 underscore Charlie Alpha Sierra Echo underscore Bravo. And revised guidance STLC RC is 5 Delta Charlie 8.
Roger. Yeah,
Works great, but it's not balanced. It's awesome, and then if you lose it, you just fall off.
Yeah.
And you find yourself overcorrecting and get it back into
yeah.
in view, and then
Also, I recognize that I said earlier that GPS satellites go into geostationary orbit. I misspoke, and what I meant to say was that navigation satellites that provide calibration to enhance GPS accuracy is what I had in my brain. So I just had to correct myself there.
Earlier in the feature with trajectory engineer Corey.
Okay, so I guess they're heating up and not cooling down. Ronnie points out that ULA said the compartment is at 70 degrees and they want it at 80 degrees. Yes, Alan, that flare stack burning in the left-hand view is, I believe it's burning off hydrogen. So this rocket runs off of cryogenic fuels, a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen.
Manuel is a lot of fun. He's interviewed us a couple times. It's really fun to hear them talk back and forth about rockets and stuff.
Yeah.
What they're talking about.
Mostly like I was saying before, like I'm like literally like I haven't like I know about Spanish, like we don't put it well, but the thing is I don't know any technical words in Spanish because like all the aerospace terms I learned them in college. And like
Yeah. So standing here talking to our friend Adrian, Adrian, who caught my interview that I did in Spanish with Manuel recently, and you lived in Puerto Rico for how many years? 11? 11 years, and he was being really sweet to me because I was feeling very nervous about this interview in Spanish because I hadn't spoken in so many years and I did not know. Like right before the interview, I looked up some words. I was like, what do I want to say? I want to say something about, you know, rocket. So I looked up a few words and then I realized that actually I wanted to talk more about the philosophical side of things and I had no words to say exactly what I wanted to say. So I kept kind of repeating myself and talking slower around it. But it went.
Not noticeable whatsoever.
He's being kind, saying it wasn't noticeable, but you can, if there are any Spanish speakers here, you can see for yourself. I'll have to post a link.
I saw you post, like I saw Manuel post the interview, like just the description in Spanish, but I was thinking the interview was in English. So I was just very confused when I wait. People know Spanish here too. I can talk Spanish. I can say buen provecho at lunch.
Claro que sí.
And I have somebody question me. Say, how do you guys power all this?
A big battery. It's huge.
Yeah, this entire control system, this crazy spaceship that we have here is completely powered by a Goal Zero battery that used to power it does power the camper.
Okay.
So it's pretty amazing, but we also have little brick batteries as well. Some of them usually go out with our launch pad cameras, depending on how long the cameras have to be out there, because those high-speed cameras need a ton of power.
Yeah.
Sometimes we even connect them to solar power.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And
with the solar panels
we'll do that out here sometimes when it's during the day and sun's beating down. Might as well use that free energy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've seen you guys like rolling the solar panels out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Good. I'm glad the feed's not dropping. I stopped talking for a while and now I can continue to talk at you.
So I was wondering, because I'm like, I have like massive batteries at home that I'm not using, so if you guys wanted them.
Oh, that is so sweet. Yeah, I mean, we always run out of outlets somehow. I'm not sure how.
I literally have what I was building for demo 2. I was building a raft so I can come like basically up to the shore barely.
Wow.
And so I bought like these massive universal batteries so I can power the little trolley motor. And I can't return them to Amazon, so now I have massive batteries at home.
We'll take them off your hands if you want. Yeah, we'll have to find a nice exchange. Get you some AR cards or something. Oh, hey, Eric Kuna. We've been joined by one Eric Kuna who says, okay, seriously, bust out the hot hands and warm this rocket up. Eric, I think you have just volunteered yourself for the job. But I don't really want you to do it. Don't do it.
This is Delta Launch Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. The team continues to work through the thermal issue I mentioned earlier. So while we're waiting on that, we'll take you through some additional shots of Launch Complex 37. This is a wide-angle shot. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the fixed umbilical tower with the 3 swing arms reaching over to the Delta.
Ronnie, you make a lovely point, and I love that you call them Wonder Gloves. That's a great name for my music gloves. He says this is a great time for the Wonder Gloves. And actually, Eric Kuna has just joined, and he's done a beautiful, gorgeous image of his daughter in an astronaut suit with a beautiful streak shot going over her, and that actually inspired me. I've always wanted to do a version of that with my music gloves. So, Eric, why don't we do this? Let's work together on this thing. Kevin Tuck asked a bit ago who are the hosts speaking. So we actually have a friend that just joined the table, so you might be hearing him a little bit. His name is Adrian Ruiz, and I myself am Mary Liz Bender of Cosmic Perspective. Ryan Chilinski is our Crazy Control Command Center director, if you will. He's the one that you kind of also hear in the background and sometimes gets on the mic. But it's just the two of us here doing some crazy stuff.
Oxygen vents. At this point in the count, the liquid oxygen will be replenished as liquid oxygen evaporates into the gaseous format and comes out the vents that you see in the first stage.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, been there about 6 months. Okay, got it. But prior to that, it was...
Eric Kuna would do anything to set up a camera out there, even swim past all of the alligators. Eric, are you here? Are you not here? Why are you not here? Anyway, there has been some pretty crazy alligator action in this water, so I would not recommend getting any closer than I am. I'm already closer than I really want to be, but I'm braving it.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Kelly says her dad lives by the Cape and usually feels the shake and hears the sonic boom. That's so awesome. It's my favorite thing in the world to hear that sonic boom, especially when when those boosters, the SpaceX boosters, come and reland themselves. That boom knocks you over. It is extremely shocking. Yes, Harry, Ryan is a wizard. I don't know how he does it all. I always wish I was more helpful, but he loves it. He is in his element. He is like a kid in a candy shop with all of these devices and controls and buttons and lights. It's awesome. It's way more complicated, but it reminds me of my old electronic drum kit. It just began to feel like a spaceship.
I do it for the buttons and the lights.
Ooh. Not the buttons and the lights, the buttons and the lights. He likes the lights.
When you guys live stream, do you guys live stream from the camera too, or do you just live stream the video?
It's being split.
Okay.
Here.
So the one on the left, your camera view?
Yes, that's the camera behind you.
Oh, that camera.
That guy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then you're in switch right here, I think. But it's so dark.
So, Ryan actually posted, if you go to our Twitter feed, it's at Consider Cosmos. If you go to the Twitter feed, you'll see a nice shot of the table. So if you want to get a sense for the insanity that is this live stream setup / telescope setup.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
We have some time.
Well, we don't know. It might be T-4 at any moment.
Well,
you never know.
Have they said anything so far?
Step.
Oh.
This is Delta Launch Control at T-4 minutes and holding. We continue to evaluate the thermal issue on the first stage of the vehicle and are standing by for a new T0. We've created a short tour of our launch locations here at Cape Canaveral in Florida. Let's take a look around.
With missions launched to every planet in the solar system, as well as critical national security, science, weather, and communication satellites, ULA has established a long-standing reputation.
Let's see if I can give you guys a little tour here. Hold on. Switch to a bigger view. Stand by.
At our launch site in Cape Canaveral, Florida,
All right.
the story begins with ULA's Atlas and Delta rockets
coming
arriving on the RS rocket ship.
in. We'll turn
The
picture in
rocket
picture
ship is a
off.
specially designed cargo ship used
See
to
if it
transport
updates here.
rockets
Hold on.
from ULA's 1.6 million
Well,
square foot production
looks like about a
facility
20-second
in Cape
delay.
Rocket ship is
Don't
large
quite have
enough to
the
carry a complete Delta IV heavy
the
rocket.
other views I need. There we go. Okay, so this is the command center, and we have Mary Liz on commentary and chat and human interaction on the left. Here's our two live view units here, and this is what I'm using to manage the live stream. So this is that cloud production software that we're testing out, which is pretty cool. So everything is mixed and combined in the cloud, and there's an alligator or something coming up at us. So there's that. And then we have an ADA Mini, which combines a couple of the different HDMI signals, the behind-the-scenes camera that I'm holding, the wide view shot behind me on a Blackmagic Pocket 4K, and then the telescope view itself is on a separate line. Here's the joysticks that I use. I've got throttle on the left and positioning on the right, so just like Flight Simulator, I'm all focused on this screen here. I don't know if you can see that. Do I have it? Yeah, there we go. So this is my view, so this is what I'm focused in on. And if I lose the rocket during flight, which is almost guaranteed because this is such a tight view, I've got a small sort of a USB webcam on top of the telescope running through this tablet. So this tablet controls the positioning for the telescope, and it also kind of gives me that second wide view. So hopefully I'll be able to zero back in on the rocket in flight. But recording in high speed gives us the ability to slow things down and make the most of those good moments that we do have for tracking as we get better and better and improve software and automate things as much as we can. So I'm going to take you back over here. Hand off the mic.
Hand off the mic.
Watch out underneath.
Oh, that's fun. See, we keep you entertained during the holds, don't worry. Okay, so Ronnie had asked if we could give a quick rundown of upcoming launches, and this is pretty bonkers. So we just before arriving here for this launch, we just received the emails from SpaceX about the launches this weekend. So SAOCOM 1B, which I had mentioned just a little bit earlier, will be launching at 7:18 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Okay, so SAOCOM 1B SpaceX launch will occur at 7:18 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. And the Starlink, SpaceX Starlink launch will occur at 10:12 a.m. on Sunday. Does this make anyone crazy? I wonder what. So it looks like the Starlink launch will be taking off from 39A.
For all Atlas and Delta vehicle systems, ground systems, the spacecraft, and the U.S. Air Force Eastern Range. The vehicle system
And the SAOCOM 1B launch is taking off from Slick 40. So yeah, this will be exciting. Eric, are you ready? You know how you're going to split up your gear?
This is the mission director. You have permission to launch. Proceeding with the count.
Bye-bye.
If the rocket is ready for flight,
Ciao.
and the weather is within the launch commit criteria, then polling will be completed, and the team will have given the go for launch.
We be good. I don't think there's going to be any crash tonight. I think there's going to be liftoff. I'm feeling optimistic about it. I mean, to raise the degree 10 by 10 doesn't seem like it would take too long, and we've got quite a long launch period to play with, so
For a typical Atlas
I
V
think we'll
flight,
see a
the
launch
main engine
tonight.
and solid rocket boosters ignite to lift the rocket off the pad. Shortly after
Ronnie
liftoff, the
has
rocket begins
asked,
a pitch
you ready for this,
to attain
Ryan?
proper flight
If you've considered
minimizing
using a
the
focal
dynamic pressure
reducer
difficulties
for this telescope.
Ronnie, I've got one focal reducer on right now, and I have a second one, and I want to stack them. I've read a little bit about stacking. I know I lose a little bit of clarity around the edges, but I don't think that'll be an issue for this kind of work. But I'd love your advice on stacking focal reducers, and I think I need to get another tube that connects to the adapter for my Micro Four Thirds Zcam E2, because I think I'm going to have some trouble focusing when I increase the distance from my camera to the back of the telescope by another focal reducer. So still figuring that out. Was trying to get it working earlier, but kind of ran out of time. So we had this beautiful zoomed in shot, and that's what we're going with. So we'll see.
And there was a question if we had received go for launch. I do not believe so. I think that was just part of the the quote ad that you mentioned.
So you know what, we should get the countdown.
LCO1, this is AC.
Go AC.
I'm ready to brief the concerns for the OCU temp.
Roger. LD net 1. LD. MD net 1.
MD.
Proceed AC.
Okay, the team did some very thorough reviews and ran some models based on
All right.
that and our analysis. We have a conservative prediction from the models, and it generated sufficient margin. Plus, looking at our flight trajectory will be mainly in sunlight, so that helps the situation as is. Our recommendation is to proceed, that we have no concerns with these current temps in the OC.
LC concurs. LD. LD concurs. MD.
MD concurs.
This is Delta Launch Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. As you just heard, the anomaly chief provided an outbrief.
Proceeding with launch.
With concurrence from the launch conductor,
Good to go.
and mission director. So in just a short few moments, we'd expect to be hearing a new T0 from the leadership team. So we'll stand by.
Sounds like we're Kuna swam out there, warmed it up.
Any indication?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead with launch. I was just listening in.
How much time?
They have not said that they have. I am just listening in to see if. Here they come. Will you turn the launch audio up a little bit? Just a little. All right, we're turning up the ULA feed audio.
LD channel 1. Go LD.
So we can pay attention because they're about to launch. They're about to announce a new T0.
Colon 00 Roger. 07
You're nervous. We're nervous. You nervous?
Good copy.
Not anymore.
ALC.
He's over it.
For
He's
T0
ready.
072800.
Roger.
RC LC.
RC.
Please coordinate with the range. New T0 072800.
072800 Zulu in work.
This is Delta Launch Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. As you just heard, the launch team is now going to target a new T0 of 3:28 a.m. Eastern Time. The assistant launch conductor will reset the countdown clocks for the new T0 while the range coordinator goes to the eastern range and verifies the eastern range can support that new T0.
LC, RC 1. Go. Range is approved, new T0 072800.
Roger.
LC.
Go.
Countdown clock has been set for new T0 of 0728. We're currently at L-minus 24 minutes.
Roger.
All right, team, the clocks are set, and we have an approved T0 07280.
I don't know. I can't get
Yes, we got 24 minutes. He just announced it. 3:28 Eastern liftoff time.
This is Delta Launch Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. As you just heard, the new T0 has been approved, the clocks are reset, and the clocks are now counting down towards a new T0 of 3:28 a.m. Eastern Time.
3:30, maybe? Is that what time I get the signal?
No, not 23.
Minutes?
3:28 is the time. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just realized what you're asking for.
28, yeah. 28 is
Yeah.
24 minutes away.
Yeah, you got it. 23. It's now 23. Overdrive Media. The current time here is 3:05 a.m. So we have just about 22 and a half minutes left in this countdown.
L-minus 23 minutes.
Yeah, Ronnie. Ronnie has offered you a 0.3 times reducer and is willing to send it over. That is awesome. We'd love to play. If that's something that you don't need and you want to see us play with, we're always willing to try new things, and definitely trying to get a slightly wider shot. Just a slightly wider shot. Yeah, Ryan, with his new fancy studio over here, has put the timer back up in the right-hand corner, so now you can follow along. It's not perfect, it's approximate, and we know that there is a bit of a delay in our feeds, so if you're here local, please do not go by this. Just know that the liftoff will take off at 3:28 Eastern local time.
This is the Mission Director Center, or MDC. Within the MDC, you'll find the ULA Launch Director.
Ronnie says 50 people watching. It's like,
you just heard as they received an out brief
That's
on the
absolutely right.
they've been working, and then provided direction on that new T0.
That came earlier? No? Okay. All right. I thought I saw a big number.
Yeah, you saw the playback number.
Here's a view from our DOSC, the Denver Operations Support Center. These are engineers that are responsible for the design and operation of the various subsystems on the vehicle. These engineers would have been engaged in the anomaly discussions and in the analysis that you heard referenced as the anomaly chief provided the out brief on that anomaly we worked a few minutes ago.
L-minus 21 minutes.
Yeah, we're T-minus 20 minutes now. It's getting close.
This is Delta Launch Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. As you heard a few moments ago, the range coordinator went to the Eastern Range to request approval for a new T0. ULA collaborates with the Eastern Range to prevent launching at a time that would result in the vehicle colliding with the ISS, another satellite, or catalog space debris. Our trajectories in the launch window are provided to the Space Force for analysis prior to launch day, and we're given a report several hours before launch that indicates if launch on a given minute within the window, we'll have the rocket or payload flying near an object with a high probability of contact. This report is called a COLA report, which is short for Collision on Launch Avoidance Report. The mission director reviews the report and lets us know if there's a particular minute that we should not target for a T0. In this case, the targeted T0 was clear.
Hey Tom, that's
Our
very
T0
sweet of
was
you to
approved,
say. I
and
would
we are
agree.
counting
It
down
remains
toward a
extremely
launch at
civil
3:28
and
a.m.
lovely
Eastern Time.
here in our chats. I'm grateful for that. 2 a.m., 8 a.m., doesn't matter.
I think it should be more rowdy. More action. Wow, we have such a good view. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, isn't that flame just stunning? Eric points out that that hydrogen flame is just a beauty to behold. Like a giant tiki torch.
17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We do some exploring.
Harry, you're so wild. 5'10" out there in Australia. So Ryan is giving you a nice view of the hydrogen flame close up with the telescope now. Gorgeous. So I don't know if you're recording, but it looks like he is now going to be recording this in 4K high speed, which will, I'm sure, be very stunning.
For a while.
Isn't that beautiful? So when I asked if you could hear the alligators, there's a lot of swishing happening in the water. And I'm making the assumption that those are... I actually definitely saw one earlier, so I'm assuming that those are still alligators swimming around out there, doing what alligators do. But it's cool you guys can hear the crickets. Eric, I thought you brought the marshmallows. You brought the hand warmers, but you didn't bring the marshmallows. Come on.
Toasty.
Definitely toasty.
It looks like it's coming out of a tree.
Ooh, Alan, great point.
ULA
We
provides the
definitely need a
analysis used by the Eastern
spectroscope
Range to produce
attachment
stay-out
for one of our
zones for airline
cameras so we can
pilots
see the
and boat
flame
captains on day of
spectra.
launch.
Good
These stay-out zones
call.
prevent intentionally jettisoned rocket pieces from landing on airplanes and
There's
boats.
so much we still need to
The
do.
Eastern Range will produce NOTAMs, or notices to airmen, to indicate
All right,
to pilots
panning
that the
back
airspace around Cape Canaveral Air
to
Force
prepare
Station
for
and along the
liftoff,
launch vehicle's flight
back
path
to the
should be
Delta
avoided.
4 Heavy.
In the event an aircraft
And
enters this controlled airspace on launch
yeah,
day, local air
so
traffic control will
I don't know
contact
if
the
you can
aircraft
hear
and
Ryan
direct
over
them out of
there,
the area.
but he is going to
The
start
range
us
also
off.
produces
Usually
notices to mariners
with the
to provide the
telescope,
same
he would
information to boaters.
kind of focus on the
The
nose
U.S. Coast Guard will post
during
these
liftoff,
notices at
but
local ports
since
and boat
this
ramps.
rocket is so
The United
special
States Air Force,
and it
NASA,
it
or U.S.
literally
Customs and Border
lights
Patrol
itself on
aircraft,
fire
or U.S. Coast
right
Guard
at
boats may
liftoff
intervene if
before
boaters enter the controlled
taking
sea
off from
space
the
and do
pad.
not respond to attempts to communicate.
He's going to try
This is
to
Delta
catch
Launch
some of that
Control,
action by
T-minus 4 minutes
starting
and holding.
closer to the base. That's going to be amazing to watch. Ronnie, the alligators are, I would say, I know it's my favorite topic. Ryan thinks I'm What do you think I am? Crazy. I would say we're, what, 20 feet away from the water's edge, and there is some serious action at the water's edge. So, but I don't think they would mess with this strange control center and all of the doodads and lights. I think that would be terrifying to an alligator. So I feel okay, but if this were any other time, I would not feel okay. They mind their own business, in all seriousness. I don't think they've ever messed with the media folks that come out here all the time, regardless of what our media chief might tell us. But yeah, they kind of stick to their own business.
L minus 14 minutes. As gas, LC.
Go, LC.
Establish scan pattern 140.
Roger.
VSE, LC, net 1.
VSE on 1.
Verify base pending moment
I would
instrumentation
agree.
is
It's too
active and
close.
data is
Too
valid.
close to gators. But you know
Verified
what?
active.
We're in Florida. We're
Reference
always,
Pocket 6 Alpha
I think
for
there's
1.
always within
Roger,
a
6
20-foot
OS
radius
Chelsea.
some kind of gator or
Set
panther.
BBM
You know, we
active.
have everything here. Panthers, gators, bears, spiders, poisonous snakes. But I've never had an issue. In fact, I am absolutely in love with the abundant life that just roams these gorgeous tropical lands. Harry, you are seeing the telescope feed in horizontal orientation today in landscape. So yeah, Ryan decided to...
Right, yeah, one way around the difficulty with field of view was to flip the camera vertical. And then with a 4K recording, I can, kind of manipulate that a little bit to get a landscape view out of a vertical shot. So that would give me a little bit more leeway. It's going to be even harder to track because I'm going horizontal. But that's what we're going to try. So.
Oh, it's so funny. We never shy away from if it's going to be more difficult. Why
Personnel,
not?
check your mics on that one.
What do we live for?
L minus
Let's
12.
push the envelope.
It's a lot easier on the live
MEQ,
stream.
initiate
It is-
retract.
Yes,
Data logger
there's
just
such an
prior to the
issue that
L7
happens
call.
when we are just
Roger.
trying to rotate that vertical view that we have. It always comes in upside down, and we have to process the rotation
We have an open
right
mic on
side
net
up
1.
with a computer, and it just adds a whole new computer to the mix, and it's a big ordeal. So we thought this was nice. We are kind of playing around with the layout and format. We were going to use the bottom section to show your chats, but kind of came in funky, so we ditched that idea. So we'll play around with the layout a little bit. But what do you guys think? Do you like seeing the ULA feed and these two views? Is there anything else you think is missing or that you'd prefer?
L minus 11 minutes. SYS, configure flume on for PU shadow mode.
Roger.
Flight control, configure option 910 for PU shadow mode.
Hey, drum set junkie. You sound like my kind of person. I am also a drum set junkie. You are so welcome for taking the time to show you this amazing perspective. This is what we live for. This is all we ever want to do. So thank you for taking the time to spend it with us. We super appreciate it. Gives us meaning, purpose in life. It's true. Not being silly. Eric, you showed up right after Ronnie made the same suggestion that you just made. Eric Kuna asks, when are you going to start performing some live launch music for these? And to be honest, it's totally overdue, and I really appreciate you asking. I had had a
10
vision
minutes. All
of
communications
wanting
switch
to
to channel 1.
perform
All personnel and visitors
based on
remain
the
in
way that I
present
feel
position
at these
until
events.
launch.
Honestly,
Maintain
it's
operational silence in the
one of my
LCC.
favorite things in the universe to
RC
try to
verifies solar
translate
radiation
through
limits
music
acceptable
the
for
way
launch. Verified.
that I feel
Terminal
in a
count
moment,
briefing.
and
If a
there's
condition
nothing more
exceeds a launch
magical than
constraint, any
being
time
here
after the terminal
right
count
across the
status
water
check,
from that
the
majestic
observer
rocket
shall
and
announce
then
hold,
watching it
hold
take off.
on channel 1.
So it's
Identify
really my
their
dream
station and briefly
to
state the reason for the
basically
hold.
live score to the spectacle. And I
Flight
hope
control
it happens
perform launch
soon.
on time
It's hard,
verification.
you know, we're doing a lot of stuff, and my gloves, my
OSM
music
verify the hold
gloves,
fire switches in the
take
proceed
a
position.
computer.
Ready to proceed.
And as you can see,
RLM
I think
verify the red line monitor and
almost
event
all of
table
our
are in the
computers
correct
are used up,
configuration
but
for terminal count.
we'll get it there someday. It's just a matter of getting the technology down, getting the live stream totally solid, and then once we feel really good about that, I'm definitely going to explore
L minus 9
and
minutes.
see how we can
This
make
is
it
LC
happen.
performing hold authority comm check. LSIC RF.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear as well. ATD.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear as
Ooh,
well.
white mask, great idea. You need an alligator camera and night vision. We've actually had an alligator cam once before on one of our first live streams. It was hard to stay on them because these cameras are pretty zoomed in. Yeah, great idea. The suggestions are rolling in.
LC, launch on time verified.
Roger. LC switch to the ready position.
Yeah, gator cam.
All
That's-
steps are complete
that's
prior
it.
to the status check.
Did we lose stuff? You okay?
It looks like we lost some stuff just now. Hasn't happened here yet.
Okay. This sometimes
Okay.
isn't a good indicator.
This is so far going
But
good.
So far, that's good.
L minus 8 minutes.
So yeah, we're T minus 7 minutes here. Super exciting.
All right.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding.
Good over there?
We remain in the built-in hold as preparation for launch continues.
Yes, as long as you're good.
In a few moments, launch conductor Scott Barney will
Got
poll the
it,
launch team
okay.
for the final go to pick up the count. 27 engineers and managers are
Cool.
polled for system
Yeah,
status and readiness to
learning
proceed.
new
This is the final
software,
status
and
check
it looks
before
like
launch for
it
all
just
Delta vehicle
sometimes looks
systems,
like it
ground
goes down,
systems,
but
the
over here
spacecraft, and
it
the U.S.
is
Air Force Eastern
good.
Range.
Yeah.
So
The vehicle system readiness poll includes electrical
Yeah, we're
systems,
just
hydraulics, pneumatics,
crossing
propulsion
our
systems, flight
fingers
control,
here.
and propellants. Let's listen in as Scott Barney performs the final polling of the launch team.
L minus 7 minutes. Status check to proceed with terminal count. First stage systems, propulsion. Go. Hydraulics.
Go.
Locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Second stage systems, locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
COM.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Operation support.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
HASGAS.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Red line monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Ops safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
Launch vehicles ready to launch.
Mission director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. L minus 6 minutes. MEQ, establish swing arm lock pins pull.
Active.
Polling is complete and the launch team has given the go for launch. The countdown will resume approximately 2 minutes from now, but before it does, let's walk through the final checks we'll hear from the launch team. Delta IV's liquid oxygen and hydrogen tanks have been full for approximately a half hour and in topping mode to replenish commodities that evaporate while we perform final valve and vent system checks. Once the terminal count begins, you'll hear indications that propellant topping has halted on all Delta first and second stage tanks. The oxygen systems are secured first, followed by the hydrogen systems, and all tanks will be pressurized for flight. The vehicle will transfer from ground electrical power to its onboard batteries. Hydraulic systems are pressurized and the vehicle's ordnance systems are armed. At T-minus 60 seconds, the eastern range will provide the range green call indicating that weather conditions are acceptable. All supporting assets are ready for liftoff and the air and sea adjacent to Complex 37 and along the flight path are clear. At T-minus 30 seconds, launch conductor Scott Barney will conduct one final short status check to verify all systems remain go for launch.
All right,
At T-minus 15 seconds, the ROFIs, or radial outward firing igniters, will light to burn off residual hydrogen around the base of the vehicle. At T-minus 7 seconds, the starboard engine will ignite, followed by the port and core engines at T-minus 5 seconds, and liftoff will occur at T0. After liftoff, you'll hear the voice of Patrick Moore with launch vehicle ascent data.
Everything's still okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm just listening in. Hey, I think our timer is off.
Yeah, I took it off because it looked like it was
You just now did?
having trouble.
Okay.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes
Yeah, it
and
looks like
holding. We
our
anticipate
timer, we had to
releasing the
take it
hold
off.
in just
It
a few
was
moments.
4 minutes behind.
T-minus 4 minutes.
The countdown clock is resumed. We've entered the terminal count.
3:55.
Go for launch.
Ground pyros enabled.
Yeah, we are go for launch. ULA is go. Ryan and I are go. I have a new focus job that hopefully, seems easy enough. We want to be able to capture any beauty that happens in the sky once it
Leave the mic on.
gets to a certain place.
Minus
Yeah, and I will
325.
Ambasonic's been recording this whole time. I am definitely going to leave this mic on so you all can hear the beautiful
Second stage liquid oxygen
liftoff sound.
systems are now secured and ready for flight.
Go for
Minus
launch.
307.
T-minus 3 minutes.
Minus 249.
FTS internal.
CBC locked at flight pressure and flight level.
Vehicle now on internal power. First stage lock systems are secured for flight.
Ready for flight.
Okay, let's
Minus 307, and it might be quite a delay, so
maybe 40-second delay.
so probably 2.5 minutes. Yeah, we're at 2, T-minus 2. Hit and record on all the cameras. I'm gonna check the mic again.
Minus 2 minutes.
Hydraulic pressure at 4,000. Vehicle internal.
155.
Launch sequencer start.
CBC LH2 at flight pressure and flight level.
Minus 140.
FPS launch enabled.
137.
Ooh, wow, tower cam. Yeah, the webcast might be a little zoomed in. It's hard to tell.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and eastern range are go for launch.
Slightly, ever so slightly.
Minus 120.
OCU's armed. FCS count started.
It's actually just 1 minute since there is a delay. So we're poised and ready to go. Enjoy the launch, everybody. Woo!
T-minus 1 minute.
Engine start, box scope.
Rock, report range status.
Range green.
Minus 50.
You're hearing the sounds of a car right now.
Second stage LH2 secure at flight
Go
level.
Delta 4 Heavy. Come on, watch this thing light on fire.
Minus 30.
Status check. Go Delta.
Whoa.
Go NROL44.
Oh. Oh. What? Oh no, it's an abort. Wow.
15.
Roll for
This
ignition.
never happened. Oh my
10.
god.
9, 8, 7,
Wow. See,
6,
this is the kind of thing
5,
I'm telling you about.
4, 3, 2,
You never know. You never know if it's going to take off.
Liftoff.
Did you see the hydrogen flare
Yeah.
burst up?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere tonight,
And
folks.
stand by. We've obviously had a hot fire abort.
I'm going to see if I can give Tim a replay here.
Yeah, so we're also piping into Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut's feed, and Ryan is trying to see if he can provide a 4K replay, 4K high-speed replay of what just took place. God, this is so crazy. Sorry, I'm talking over the feed probably.
And LC verifies MECO confirm.
This is Delta Launch Control. The last call from the launch conductor indicating that he has confirmed that the engines did not start. At this point, the launch team will be securing the launch vehicle, ensuring that all systems are saved.
Seconds, received a TISR abort.
Roger.
I've
And
never
are you ready
seen
to
that
reset the
before.
clock? T-minus 4 and
I just
holding.
heard other people say the same thing.
Roger, ready.
Roger. ALC reset countdown clock to T-minus 4 minutes and holding.
Roger.
Do you see a replay happening? Yeah. See if the replay should be coming.
Okay, the replay's coming at you.
Dang, maybe I went too far.
We think. Yeah.
LC,
Oh.
SCS in pre-flight mode.
Roger. Prop 1 verify
Trying to get
safe
that replay.
RS-68
And then we'll
shutdown
have to pack up
and
really
following
quickly.
urge
So,
configuration.
Active, sir.
oh yeah, here we're getting a replay.
Yeah, I went too far.
DST-1,
Gotcha.
LC. DST-1, best source select number 4 to switch best source select number 1 and best source select number 2 force to channel 1.
Roger.
MEQ, swing arm lock pins install.
In work.
Overdrive Media, no, they probably will not be attempting to go again tonight. I think they have to refuel and reset. So, sorry, I don't mean to keep talking over the feed.
And LC pad looks nominal. OSM, can you verify?
We're doing sweeps right now.
Roger.
I don't see any fires.
LC, lock pins installed.
What's that?
Roger.
Replay's happening now.
ALC, establish engine cooling water off.
Good stuff coming at you. Ryan says from over there.
Oh, it might just be the computer's connection, which is probably right.
Oh, wow.
Water
Wow,
off.
look at that.
Yeah, check that out.
That is crazy.
LCOSM.
Go OSM.
Sweep complete, no fires.
Roger. And
Hey,
USO, you can
Juventus
verify
One.
same.
Yeah, we're so excited to be able to transport you here since you
USO
can't
verified.
be here. This is
Roger.
wow. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by this replay. But yeah, this is our passion. This is what we love to do. So happy to have you all here with us tonight. So
And
sorry
MEQ,
this
LC.
didn't go, but this is how it
Go
goes.
ahead. Did you verify lock pins
So
installed?
we've got two more launches.
Roger.
I assume that the SpaceX launches, the Southcom
All right.
1B and
Report system status,
the
fuel 1.
Starlink launch will take place on Sunday.
Fuel nominal.
Field 2.
Unless this has range priority,
Field 2
we'll
nominal.
Lox
check in
1.
with that soon. But
Lox
either
1
way,
nominal.
we've got another
Lox 2.
set of
Lox 2 is nominal.
busy
And prop
launch
1.
periods coming up. So please stay tuned. And if you haven't already,
Roger.
subscribe,
Report
hit
one
the
complete.
bell on our
Roger.
channel. That way you know when we go live for the next launch. And thank you for
And
being
PNE, have you
here. I
established
hope you guys have
PSN2?
an absolutely
Verified.
wonderful night
Oh, are we
or morning.
packing up, or? I don't know.
I think that we're packing up. I just
HYE,
assumed
secure
because I hear
hydraulics.
cars
Roger.
rushing by.
ASGAS, establish scan pattern 305.
Roger.
GE, establish arm igniters, reset.
Reset.
PNE, verify nose cone purge on and set heater to 164 degrees.
Verified.
Think we need to pack up? Seems so. There's been a request for a replay on the left feed because that fireball shot up. Do you think that's something we can do in a quick minute? We're going to try to make it happen, but we might have to hurry out. I'm just kind of keeping an
OSM,
eye on
LC.
OSM,
Report ready to safe vehicle ordnance.
ready.
the others.
And verify OSM concurrent safe FTS.
OSM concurs.
FTS, command FTS safe and external.
In work.
You replaying it? Yep. All right, the replay on the left side of the screen is coming at you. So you should see that hydrogen flare shoot up pretty high in the sky. Is this high speed?
Yeah, it'll be slow-mo.
It's going to be slow-mo.
But it's delayed, so
And it's a bit of a delay, so
that's happening right now.
coming at you now. It's always great hanging out with you guys. I'm super grateful. Wow. Oh, they have been fast. Wow, that
This is
actually
Delta
went
Launch Control.
really fast.
As you're hearing on the net,
Like
the
not
team is
slow-mo.
working to secure and safe the vehicle. Swing arm
Oh, it's
lock
coming.
pins have been
Oh,
installed to
here it
ensure the
comes.
swing arms
Whoa.
will not be retracted. And all vehicle systems are being evaluated for their status. So far, all nominal calls from all of the operators relative to their systems on the ground and on the launch vehicle.
Yeah, it's coming. Can we start packing?
MEQ, report swing arm system secured.
Secured.
ALC on TC emergency panel, remote cameras normal.
Normal.
PNE, configure helium supplies.
In work. LC, flight control is ready to proceed.
Thank you, everybody. You guys
Roger.
are so sweet to us. We love you.
LD,
We gotta
LC,
pack up
that
now, so we'll let this feed
LD
go
L1.
as long as it can.
LD, we
but
had a hot
I'm gonna
fire
go
for
ahead and
T-minus
turn
3
off my mic
seconds. We
and
have
start
before
packing
our,
up. So,
abort sequence
hey,
securing,
thank
and we
you.
are ready to proceed into
We'll see you
detanking
next time.
operations.
Proceed, LC.
All right, team, we're proceeding to Operation 80. And RC notified range of decision.
RC copies.
Flight control terminate option 910 and reset 910 flags.
Roger.
And I lied. Ryan really wants to bring you one more replay, and I think that'll be from the
And LC to
telescopic
1 when able.
shot on the right-hand
LC
side
go.
of the screen.
Yes, sir.
So
Top one.
keep your eyes
Firing
there. New
state
replay coming at you.
systems nominal.
Roger.
And I, with that, will bid you adieu. Turn off the mic. Enjoy the replay, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
option 910 terminated and flags reset.
Roger. And flight control re-enable MSE Adams limit monitor.
Roger, it's been worked. MSC limit monitors are enabled.
Roger. RLM LC.
RLM, go ahead.
Stop red line monitor.
Roger. LC flight control is ready for clock to reset T plus 5 minutes and counting.
Roger. ALC adjust clock to T plus 5 minutes and start plus count.
Roger.
Has gas LC.
LC RLM. Go ahead.
Go RLM.
RLM is stopped.
Roger. Has gas. Proceed to scan pattern 305.
Roger.
And MEQ, we've already established swing arm lock pins installed.
Roger.
Shut down swing arm hydraulic system.
Roger.
OS